Spielberg says he thinks The Dark Knight could have been having an Oscar. Steven Spielberg thinks The Dark Knight would have won an Oscar if it came out today. What do you think?
We're going to discuss our favorite and least favorite moments of Star Wars. Add yours to the comments.
Today we're going to talk about our favorite and least favorite Batmen and the movies that they were in. All that and more.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Personified Fandom, Episode 9. I am Josh Meany from the J Meany Review, and I got two other people with me who are with me every week because we are the personification of fandom. First up, we got Ginty. Ginty, how you doing?
Doing fucking great, brother. How you been?
Rocking and rolling, rocking and rolling. I say that every time, rocking and rolling. I don't even know what it means, but I like the sound of it. Next up, we got Mr. Mike from Mike Dag's Reviews. How you doing, man?
Great. Wonderful. Crappy and snowing.
Yeah, that doesn't sound
That's
great.
what the weather is like.
Or
That's
wonderful.
what it's like for us. Yeah, that's
Not fun.
That's our reality.
But we got some random stuff to talk about. You know, not a lot happened in the world of news in the movie world, so we got our own random stuff to talk about. But our first topic is movie news, and it is that Steven Spielberg said that if The Dark Knight came out today, it would have been nominated for Best Picture. Ginty, do you agree with that? Do you think if Dark Knight came out today, it'd be nominated for Best Picture?
Absolutely. And how it didn't win when it did come out is fucking blasphemy.
Yeah, it wasn't even nominated.
Plain and simple. No, it should have been nominated. Not only that, but a bunch of other different things.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the Oscars? Do you care about the Oscars?
No. Oscars, Emmys, Academy Awards can all suck it. All it is a fucking platform to boast their fucking political views and say this and say that. Fuck you all. You're rich people. You're paid to fucking play in movies and entertain us. You're not a real fucking person anymore. Try living like we do and really see what the world is fucking like. Pound sand, bitches.
Just shit on their entire existence.
Jesus.
Hey, I love you in this. I love you in that. You sucked in this. You sucked in that.
Mm-hmm.
Keep them coming. Leave politics out of it.
Well, Ricky Gervais had that really great quote when the last time he hosted. He was like, when you get your award, come up here, thank your publicist, thank your agents, and get off stage. He's like, no one wants to hear about your made up world that you pretend to live in.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was just like, damn.
Exactly. Which is why they will never ask him back again. Oh my God, he would shit all over.
I'm sure they will, because he's like the best thing that ever happens to it. So
that wasn't the Oscars. That was the Golden Globes, right?
Yeah.
It was the Golden Globes.
I don't even
more
know.
Like laid back.
Was it the Academy? I don't even know what. Yeah, like it's like a made up stuffiness, and I feel like I don't know. I mean, to acknowledge something that for being good is, what we should do, because if something is extraordinary, or the best picture voted on by people of the year, it's a weird. People claim not to care about it, but then when things are nominated, there's articles that come out and people care about it. Like this. Like people say, The Dark Knight didn't win Best Picture. I mean, we were in a time where, those type of movies, comic book movies and stuff, weren't really looked at in the same type of serious scope. And then that came out, and it's like, how do you judge that amongst its like counterparts, where we never really judged those type of movies before, where they probably should have, movies just, I don't know, it's just weird. Like action movies and stuff aren't really judged on the same way that, more serious tones are, which is kind of weird because it's all the same made up stories that are put on film. So it's, I don't know. It's weird.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I think I like the Oscars because I can tell how much it means to the actors and actresses. Like that's their dream to win an Oscar. So when I see these performances win an Oscar, it's like I feel happy for them. But then when it comes down to it, it's like you drop the Best Picture list, and I've only seen like 3 of those movies. You know what I mean? Like half the time, I barely even seen half these movies that were nominated.
If that, usually maybe you've only heard of one of them. It's like
right.
I've never even seen it. I've never even seen a preview for like 4 of the 5 movies. Like, how is this?
It also sheds light on the movies too, which is kind of cool sometimes. So I'm indifferent. Like I usually hate a lot of things. I'm not that too like cold on the Oscars. I'm not hot on them, but it does sometimes, like, I mean, how many movies you think really helped by being nominated or winning Best Picture, like Midsummer? I mean, I'd like to go back and think that I probably never even heard of that movie until, won an Oscar. It must be good then. And then you check it out. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really hurt. But yeah, I do agree with like it's a bunch of rich people high-fiving themselves, which at the end of the day is like, oh, cool. You're just in a room with people who were disassociated from reality, getting an award from them. Awesome. Like there's more important things in the world, but there's more important things than everything than us sitting here in this making a podcast.
Yeah,
so it's,
absolutely.
I don't know, perspective.
And then like the Oscars do things like not give Leonardo DiCaprio an Oscar until what was it? The Revenant was the name of the movie?
Revenant, yeah. He had to get fucked up by a bear.
Yeah, like that's how long it took you to give him.
Yeah,
he should have won.
Well,
it for
to be
Django.
fair, I did try to look up like a list of the movies that won when his like Grand Slam movies came out, and it was like ridiculous. Like he kept coming out with great movies, but there was other movies that were just better than that movie. So it's tough to do it. It's tough to, but yeah, I mean it's weird. It is, and I wonder. I would love to know how many actors actually start, by wanting to win an Oscar. Like if you're in sports, your dream is to win a championship, right? If you're a football player, it's to win the Super Bowl, baseball World Series. But like, if, and maybe I can't accurately say it because I'm not an actor. Obviously not. I didn't grow up in that lifestyle. But if I was to become an actor, I don't think I would care really about. I mean, winning an Oscar would be great, like cool, but I'd be much more in it for like the money and fame and like the acting, getting to do cool shit because you're an actor, getting to work in different parts of the world and being known. So I think I'd just be curious to see how many people actually care that they win, striving to win Oscars. Because like you say, it's the pinnacle, but just because a bunch of people said, oh, let's give this guy an Oscar because... But you do get to say like Oscar winner, whoever, forever.
Yeah, you do get that.
In any trailer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oscar winning director, blah blah blah. Like, oh shit, I'm gonna watch that movie.
And that's a pretty dope title. I mean,
it's always funny when it's Oscar nominated, and you're like,
but didn't win. Yeah, like,
clearly didn't win.
Almost.
You were only the first or second loser.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. There was somebody from like the gaming industry, or no, maybe it was like editing or something, was talking about that they should put more light into the editing and post-production Oscars because those people don't get recognition. Like
and
those
casting.
are the real people that casting.
casting
those are like the real
like...
people that actually make or break a movie, and we talk about it all the time that movies can be completely ruined in editing. Completely ruined in editing.
Yep.
So it's like the people that are actually, making these digital effects or putting the movies together hardly ever get recognized. Mm-hmm. And it's a shame. It's always just the actor. And it's like half the time, okay, out of the 4 million times that guy said that line, you chose the one that was good.
Right, yeah.
You should get a little credit for that.
Yeah.
But
Mike, what do you think about the comments about The Dark Knight? Do you think Dark Knight would have been nominated for Best Picture had it come out like in the last couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, it's also, it's tough to go back and think, a lot of movies today, I think that a lot of films and the place that we're at in comic book movies exist now because of how good The Dark Knight was. So it's kind of chicken or the egg situation where you can't really have the landscape that we're in now without a movie like that just completely laying the groundwork for like taking comic book movies seriously. Like it's it is kind of groundbreaking, and like Heath Ledger did amazing. Everybody in that movie is doing it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it's
Everybody.
more known by Heath Ledger because of his performance, and because he passed away afterwards, after that performance. So I would like to think, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. It deserves it. It deserves to. But I don't know if we'd be in a place where we are now without that movie kind of, existing. So who knows?
Right.
But if it did, yeah. But like you said, if something else had come out in the past that put us where we are and that movie came out, yeah, probably. It probably would be highly considered.
Yeah, I think so too.
Gary Oldman needs an Oscar.
Yeah, Gary Oldman's
doesn't
one
have
of those people who doesn't have an Oscar. Yep. Yeah, there's a
that's
list
It's
of
time.
them who it's like, how do you not have an Oscar?
Yeah, but also it's like,
Yeah.
okay, like I mean, it's we've like they've all made this like thing, this little statue so important, but it's like, does that person really care? Do they, is him winning an Oscar going to make me think anything more of him? No, I like him a lot. I think he's fantastic.
Right, yeah.
It didn't change my mind on Leonardo DiCaprio. It didn't make
No,
me suddenly
absolutely
go,
not. No.
you know what,
Just made
that
me think
Leo
the
kid, he's
Oscars
pretty
was
good
stupid.
now.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because you're like, oh, well, that guy didn't win one. He's one of the best
Yeah.
actors in the world. So what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah, it's the same thing with the
He
Grammys.
is.
I mean, I hit a point even with the Grammys. I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Some of the winners, I'm like, you gotta. I never even
Yeah.
heard of this person. And I'm really into music. Like, I usually
Yeah,
have at least
exactly.
heard of pretty
Yeah.
much everyone. Like,
Yeah.
big.
It's see, all right, let me pedestal real quick that I think singing is one of the most overrated fucking things in the world, to be honest. I don't care for like the American Idol shows. I just never really I mean, it's always some sad story. Oh, he was homeless and he grew up without a head and he found a head in the alleyway and his father worked 8 jobs to sustain. And it's like it's always some story like that. And then you hear the person sing, then you're like, okay, great. Like he's got a fantastic voice. I don't put that much stock into like now. I will say that there are some people that have absolutely fantastic singing voices. That's true, but
Yeah.
you could basically make. I mean, you see it all the time with people that, the way they edit their music to sound so much better than when they just sing on stage. So I don't know. I think singing is one of those just overrated talents that somebody can be halfway decent at, and if you're marketable and have the correct timing and catchy tune, you can become popular off of it.
Yeah.
I mean, look at
yeah.
Kesha.
Get rid of auto-tune.
I kind of like Kesha. I don't mind her music, but is she that talented? No.
Right. There's those few like golden people. I feel like Lady Gaga, Aretha Franklin. Those voices that hit the Whitney Houston. Those people. But yeah, now it's just so diluted with all these people
Even
who
like
can sing. Like that's all you got to do is be able to sing. They'll write the songs for you. You know what I mean? So you have all these people coming in, and it's like there's only those key people who are like, oh, okay, Adele.
Yeah.
Beyonce's
people
made
like
a living off of that. Just they write the songs for her, and she just sings them okayish.
Yep. Exactly.
And even like with some people like Lady Gaga, is she more known for her fantastic voice or just wearing the craziest stuff and being just like super flamboyant? I would argue that it's a little bit like a lot of both.
Yeah.
Although she does have a
Yeah.
really good voice. So I mean, but
Oh,
I think
she does-
incredible voice.
I think she started with that, like wearing a meat suit,
Yeah.
like
Well,
just wearing crazy
her,
stuff.
I believe her whole start was actually just songwriting. That's where she like got into it. Like she writes all of her music, pretty much all of her music.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yeah, I know.
lyrics
Neo?
at least.
Wasn't Neo writing a lot of her songs too? Which is was it Neo? Or he
it's
was
very
writing
possible.
He was writing songs for somebody, and that's actually a crazy story. I was looking into it like years ago. Like Akon had a 3-year, like 3 CD deal with like RCA or whoever he was with at the time, and they wanted to get out from him because he just wasn't profitable, but he had a deal that that he can make 3 more albums, and he was like, "Listen, I'll terminate my contract. I'll rip it up. You won't owe me another dime as long as I can take Lady Gaga with me." And they were like, "Okay." And this was like pre Lady Gaga. This is like when she was very, very new. And they were like, "Yeah, sure, okay." And he was like, idiots. So he like started his own record company, signed her, and made like $1 billion, and then just like moved back to Africa and started like a clean water project.
Yeah, it started building Wakanda. You see, like
basically
schematics
Wakanda,
for the city. It's like, oh, that literally looks like Wakanda.
What the fuck?
All praise Akon.
Yeah. Wild. And he had. I also saw that he has a brother that used to just go perform for him. Who looked somewhat like him and would just go perform for him to like countries
I wouldn't doubt it.
Didn't really know what he looked like that much.
That's hilarious.
Pretty awesome. That's so like, and I mean, Akon was great. He had some of my favorite music from like the early 2000s. I loved his stuff, kind of like the mid 2000s. Horrible segue. No, I don't got it.
I mean, they were all kind of big stars, but no one. There's no stars like fucking Star Wars.
No stars like fucking Star Wars. I want to get that on a T-shirt. That's perfect. But yeah, we wanted to talk about some of our favorite and least favorite moments in Star Wars. This is deriving from an after podcast talk that we should have had recording while we were talking about it. But
we didn't.
So, Ginty, what is your least favorite moment in Star Wars? Or one of them, at least.
Least favorite. My absolute least favorite moment in Star Wars is actually... What is it? It is the re-release of Return of the Jedi. The end. The Force Ghost of Anakin is now Hayden Christensen. Don't get me wrong. Loved Hayden Christensen as Anakin. But they totally took away from the actor who actually played Darth Vader, taking credit for becoming and going back to the light side. Least favorite moment was seeing that taken away.
See, for me, I liked that moment. It's weird. Growing up,
I'm sure if I was
a little like, for me, I didn't know, and it's you know why and I can totally understand why you would not like it. I totally get it. For me, whenever I saw that guy in Return of the Jedi, I never knew who he was. I was like, wait, what is that? What the guy underneath the mask is supposed to look like when he was younger? Because it's like James Earl Jones is the voice, and everybody, I knew that as a kid. So when they showed that white guy, I was like, what? Oh yeah, that's right. He was a guy before he was Vader. That's weird. So when I saw him as Hayden Christensen after the prequels that came out, I was like, oh, okay, that makes more sense to me. So I was on the other side of it, but I can totally understand why you would hate that, the original thing, because
I mean, they changed a lot. They had how many special editions? Like 3 after the original, I believe, or something like that. And they were changing a lot, a lot. I mean, look at Emperor Palpatine. Sidious, wildly different. I think
although it was the same actor.
It was the same actor.
The same actor who played the original Palpatine in the original trilogy played Palpatine in the prequels.
Yeah, and he's incredible. Yep. He is just he's out of here.
And he played it for Ian McDermott. He played in what's it called, The Rise of Skywalker too.
Never heard of it.
Yep.
But
another one like even like the I love some of the aspects of the remastered original trilogy. There are things because there's stuff that's there that was shot but never released because the technology just wasn't there at the time. And I get it. And then they finally did it in the early 2000s, and I was pretty happy about it.
Yeah, that Han Solo scene with Jabba the Hutt is pretty tough.
Yeah.
To watch. You're like,
It was tough
it's
to
just not-
watch, but it
Yeah.
just throws in more context.
I think one
Yeah,
of the worst
which-
additions they added was Darth Vader going, no, as he picks up Sidious and throws him out. That is one of the worst things they could have possibly added.
Wait.
That was in it.
What, in the original?
That was, yeah.
No.
I don't even think I ever heard that.
Yeah.
I haven't watched Return of the Jedi in
No,
maybe
in
a
the
decade.
original, he doesn't say no when he does it. They added that in one of the special editions after.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, as far as I can remember, always remember him screaming no.
I don't think you did. I don't think you did. I'm pretty sure they did it after Revenge of the Sith.
Is that one of
Because
those?
he did it in there.
What's one of those things where something's never been like that, but you thought it was?
The Mandela effect?
Yeah, the
Mandela effect.
'cause I'm
That's a
Mandela.
Mandela-
Maybe
that-
I'm tripping. Maybe I'm
I mean,
tripping.
we're gonna go with the Mandela effect on that one. But another crap one was and I mean, it's okay. I guess it goes with the times and it's fine. But it's the cantina music when they're in there and they're in Jabba's lair and they're jamming out.
Look, man, that's another one. I love it.
Wait, the that's like my favorite shit. I just
Yeah.
Fire.
Oh, but that's
That
how it
slaps.
starts. That's how it starts off the same, and then it goes into this like actually
yeah.
a pop
When
song.
the girl comes
Yeah.
out.
The
and she's
CGI
singing
singer,
with the-
yeah.
Oh, I hate that. That edition was fucking awful.
Yeah,
That
that's
might
what
be
I'm
my
talking about.
least favorite moment. That might be the number one. I'm
That
mad that we
is
brought that up
yeah.
already because that's it. There's nothing worse than that. That is worse
It
than
was
the
terrible.
sequels combined.
It ruined,
That-
it ruined it. It
It's
ruined the
just-
whole mood of that scene.
Take it the fuck out. No one liked that. No one wanted that. No one likes it. There's nobody like you could make an argument for every moment that we've said already and that we'll say. You cannot defend that. You can even defend Jar Jar fucking Binks. You can be like, well, he's a stupid animal. Well, that stupid like music, like 35-second music video is terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Absolutely terrible.
And look, man,
Awful.
I don't hate Jar Jar Binks like everyone else does.
No.
I really don't.
I don't
think
either.
It's because it came out when I was a kid. Because I loved Jar Jar as a kid, and as I got older, I'm like, yeah, I can see how he's super annoying. But as soon as I think of the prequels, that's one of the things I think of is Jar Jar Binks. Just
I never had an issue with Jar Jar, even as me being the old guy. I didn't mind Jar Jar Binks. In fact, and I love the theories that he's actually a fucking Sith Lord.
Yeah, I love that too.
Darth Jar Jar.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I don't hate him. Like I didn't hate it, but it's also not as bad. Like I hate him. I don't like him,
Yeah.
but it's also not as bad as like it gets blown up to be. He's like there's like there might be 2 scenes where he's just a little bit too much. When he steps in the poop and when he shocks his tongue. You're like, okay, I'm done with this. But the rest of it's like, okay. He's just a
I think
plucky
I think
goofy
the
relief.
king is the worst character in that whole fucking movie.
That's very
I still laugh so hard when I see him do
It's
that.
just like
yeah.
what are you doing?
Uh-huh.
That fucking Windows XP background.
Oh,
Battle scene is
man.
tough.
Oh, the green
great.
screen is tough.
I won't dive too much into like the sequel trilogy because I mean if anybody's watching this that's watched anything of these episodes, you know that me and Josh do not like them.
Yeah, it's hard
but-
for me not to start thinking of sequel stuff.
because there's
Hey.
a lot to not like in those
Don't care.
sequel trilogies. But I will say in Force Awakens, which is my favorite of the sequel trilogy, I hated the second that they showed Starkiller Base. It pissed me off. It really made me mad that it was just another Death Star. And then they like Han Solo makes fun of it. He's like, "Oh, we're gonna find a way to blow this one up." And you're like, "Oh my god, like, are you guys serious right now? Who
That's
wrote
Han
this?
Solo. There's always a way to blow something
Yeah,
up.
we're gonna find a way to blow this one up, Chewie. That's even bigger. It'll blow up too." And you're like, "Oh God."
Don't care. I love it. I love every aspect of it.
I mean, I think
but
I think if
that's just me being the Star Wars freak and nerd that I am.
I think if there's one
Yeah,
key moment in the whole sequel trilogy, like a key moment that I really didn't like is when Luke gets his lightsaber back and throws it over his shoulder. Now, in the moment, like when it happened, I wasn't
It's
that
funny.
upset. But little
Yeah.
did I know it was foreshadowing how I will feel about Star Wars for the next couple years. Like it just.
There's a lot
now
of,
when I look back, I'm like that moment irks me so bad.
there's a lot of moments like that you're like can go either way. Like in the beginning of The Force Awakens, he goes, "This will begin to make things right." And you're like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
no,
Hey,
that was a lie."
I think it was a solid start. I really do. I mean, Force Awakens.
Yeah, I mean, the
I was
beginning.
so excited after that film.
Yeah, at the end of that movie, there was a lot of stuff that I was like, I didn't like that. But overall, hey, it's fucking looks good. But
Yeah.
I don't know. We could talk about this literally for an
Yeah.
entire 2 episodes.
So, what do you think for favorite moments?
So one of the favorite moments that I brought up in our little after talk is I think my favorite moment is Obi-Wan and Anakin dueling on Mustafar. That is the most emotional moment for me in the entire Star Wars franchise. I mean,
yeah,
that's got to be my favorite moment.
Yep.
And then I can't.
You too, Mike?
I can't. It is, but I'm not just gonna be like, "Go, me too." What you say? I don't know. I one of my favorites is still the from the original trilogy when before Han Solo's going to the carbonite bath and she goes, "I love you," and he's, "I know." Like that's that moment too. That always,
Fire,
like
absolute fire.
gets me.
Totally ad-libbed and kept in the movie.
Mhm. Yeah, it's great. Another one of my favorite moments is Luke Skywalker in Return of the Jedi. Just him showing up to Jabba's palace and like he pulls the hood back and he's just full Jedi now. That whole thing I just love. That some of my favorite stuff in Star Wars. I mean, that's my favorite Star Wars film is Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. No, yeah. Mine too. I mean, obviously, first movie I ever saw as a kid was Return of the Jedi. But so that one just sticks with me. Granted, yes, I feel Empire is the better movie, but in my eyes, just because of what took me to the Star Wars universe, it's Return of the Jedi. But was it A New Hope? Well, one of the biggest moments was the revelation that Darth Vader is Luke's father.
Yeah.
Which is
him getting that.
Me, so
I wish I could experience it.
I knew that as a kid.
But that's a crazy thing. So if you go back and watch like the interviews and stuff for Empire and all that, like no one knew. Not even like none of the actors. It wasn't even in the script. That was like kept secret. Like that whole thing was secret from everybody. So when that was revealed and they finally saw it at the premiere, they're like, what?
Yeah.
They had no clue. It was just all pure emotion and reaction to that. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I wish George Lucas planned his trilogy out like all at once, so we didn't get the weird Luke and Leia stuff. But like all in all, he pulled it off pretty well. We're all kind of like, that was weird, but
yeah, you just kind of like, well, they had a little bit of a connection. They went a little bit of Jamie and Cersei Lannister. Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
But going back to your whole no moment, that's actually one of my favorite moments in Star Wars is Anakin, Darth Vader turning back to the light side and becoming Anakin again and saving Luke by throwing Palpatine down.
And he still died. I think that's very important. Yes, he was redeemed. Yes, there was a good person still in him, but he slaughtered people. And not just the men, but the women and the children too.
Yes, too. Yes.
He can't just be redeemed and live on. Like it's important that he still died. He met his demise.
Yes, 100%.
It's just
but
it's just
that
like
whole.
It's just
it's true. It's true.
But like,
it's just like a mirror. It's just like a mirror when Kylo Ren, he force saves Daisy Ridley with that power that he learned in the last
one
hour that is of his life.
At some point,
he realized how to force save, and then he dies. Then they kiss, and then he dies. Just
people were figuring out they could do shit left and right in those movies.
Oh my God. Just to say one sentence, that's what bugs me the most about the sequel trilogy is that they created 70% of the new powers came up in the very last movie. And you're like, how do you just keep discovering these things?
When did
Okay,
Jedis
moving
become
on.
literal gods? Like,
Yeah,
what is
moving
happening?
on. We said our favorite moments and least favorite moments. How about we cover some of this in the Batman movies? Because there's a lot of them.
Absolutely.
So Josh, what's your favorite Batman movie?
My favorite Batman movie. It's just so like, yeah, it's The Dark Knight. My favorite
Yeah.
Batman's The Dark Knight. I think a more interesting one would be my second favorite, which would be The Batman. Robert Pattinson's The Batman. That's my second favorite Batman movie. And then my third would be Batman Begins. Yep, that's my top three. I just feel like it's so cliche to say Dark Knight right now. Like, it's not an interesting answer. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, of course,
not,
Dark
but
Knight's
it's
my
the answer.
favorite. Yeah. I feel like
it
more
is,
interesting
yeah.
is my 2 and 3. You know, the Batman and then Batman Begins. I love Batman Begins. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
I like, for me, it's obviously Dark Knight. And then I actually am one of those people, I like Dark Knight Rises. I think
Yeah, I do too.
for what that movie had to do,
Mm-hmm.
I think Batman Begins is a little too slow for me. Like, it's still a great movie. I still love it. Not saying that I don't. I still really like Batman Begins, but I've gone back and like rewatched the trilogy like on a Saturday where there's nothing to do. I'm like, I'm just gonna watch all the Batman movies, all the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, and like I just I don't know. I can't. Batman Begins it's my least favorite of that trilogy. Looking at the list here, I really like. Now, I'm trying to differentiate Batman and Robin and Batman Forever, because I did. Growing up, I freaking loved it. Batman and Robin is the one with Jim Carrey, right?
No, Batman and Robin
No.
is the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Nipples.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Bat nipples?
Well, they started
Bat nipples
edging
is-
towards the nipples in Forever, though, right? Didn't they start kind of making his
Yeah.
pecs look more, you know? I think they were easing towards it in Forever. and then went full nipple. in-
Forever, yeah. Yeah, Forever, because Forever actually had, yeah, because that was,
That had
Jesus.
Two-Face and Riddler.
Okay.
Val
With
Kilmer.
Val Kilmer, yep.
Val Kilmer,
Who was an
what a
awesome.
bold-
O'Donnell.
What a bold move
He was.
to go 2 years later, 2 years removed. They're like, we're going to go in a different direction. Like, that's crazy. Why did they?
Completely different direction. Like,
Why
Adam
did they
West
change?
direction?
Yeah. Why did they change Val Kilmer to what's his name?
George Clooney?
George
Michael
Clooney.
Keaton? Oh.
Yeah.
No.
Why'd they go
Okay.
Kilmer to Clooney?
To-
Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
He
Kilmer
went
to
from-
Clooney. I thought you were saying why did
Kilmer-
they go from Keaton to Kilmer?
Which sucks because George Clooney was a fantastic Bruce Wayne.
Oh, he was
Yeah, he
so
was just
good
bad-
as Bruce
bad.
Wayne. God,
Yeah.
he was perfect.
But I can't just couldn't get over the nipples.
yeah,
and the back card, the Batman credit card was
just
just
Batman credit. Put it on my card. Pulls out. Oh man, I loved that movie as a kid. I just
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger
I mean-
as Mr. Freeze,
Mr. Freeze.
timeless, classic, Oscars. Should have won them all, every single one of them.
That Alicia Silverstone is Batgirl.
Oh, she was terrible. She was so bad, you know. Like, in a movie that's already just shit, you rose above the rest to be just particularly trash. And she's a good actress. I don't know what
Yeah.
happened in that movie. She was garbage.
It was a very odd one.
You know what I love though? That they kept the same Alfred. Like anytime I think Alfred in Batman, that's the Alfred I think of. Is the one that they had in those 4 films. The 2 Keatons, Kilmer, and Clooney. Kept that Alfred. You know, my
So sorry, I was
favorite
just-
Was it?
my favorite yeah, it was. Yeah. It's the same Alfred.
Okay.
In all 4 of those films.
I love Jeremy Irons.
Oh, Jeremy Irons was great, and Andy Serkis was great, and Michael Caine was great too. I think all the Alfreds have been
yeah.
Yeah.
pretty
They've all
dope.
been pretty-
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
so it looks
even me.
Sorry, I was just
favorite
reading up
Batman,
on why. So
it-
it seems that Schumacher just couldn't work with Val Kilmer, so they replaced him. That was why.
I feel like it was more so Kilmer couldn't work with Schumacher. Kilmer's probably like, you're doing something to my career that is not okay with me.
I mean, yeah, it's well. Actually, it says here that Kilmer often fought with various members of the production crew.
That
And he
adds up.
refused to speak to Schumacher for 2 weeks after the director reprimanded him for his behavior. So, yeah,
Give him the silent
Schumacher said he was
treatment.
childish. He said he was
Yeah.
childish, and that. I mean, that's
Yeah,
kinda,
I'll do it. What
Yeah.
the fuck?
I mean, he was Iceman, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, he can be, oof. But yeah. So, who's your favorite Batman? Like, out of all the Batmans, who's your favorite
Ooh.
Batman side of it? Because we didn't even talk about Batfleck either.
No, we didn't. And
Ben
he's
Affleck.
It's so tough. So
I like Ben Affleck for an older Batman. Like, I know
I
he was older
love
when he
Ben
played the
Affleck as
role
Batman.
than they were.
I think Ben Affleck was by far the best, hands down, Bruce Wayne there's been.
oh god, it was like they created him in a lab. He
Yeah.
had the chin,
Yeah.
like everything about him screamed Bruce Wayne. That's
Dude,
insane.
he's like he's Bruce Wayne in real fucking life.
Yeah,
This
Yeah,
rich,
that's what I'm saying.
depressed guy. It's all by himself in his mansion. Well, now he's at J-Lo, but whatever. But yeah, he is like the epitome of fucking Bruce Wayne.
look, man, he is responsible. Well, not responsible. He took part in one of my favorite Batman scenes ever in Batman v Superman, when he shows up to the warehouse and he takes down all them goons trying to save Martha. I remember sitting in the theater because obviously I was having a hard time getting through this film, but it got to that and I'm like, that's the most incredible Batman fighting scene I have ever seen. I mean, he can move his neck for one. He's not like so stiff, and it reminded me of the Arkham games.
Yeah,
Batman Arkham games.
Okay.
The way I just that depiction of Batman, I think, is. I want to say it's my favorite. I know he kills and shoots, and that's just not Batman, but it's kind of dope. It's kind of cool. Can't lie.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't
And
know.
then
I
really
love
like
it so much.
But
I think-
as just raw Batman, I would have to go with Christian Bale.
Yeah.
But as up and coming, dude, Pattinson fucking
Oh,
killed
he
it.
nailed it as
as
Batman.
not, I wouldn't even say Batman, just because he's basically not even Batman yet. He's like pre-Batman,
Pre-Man.
like Vengeance
Baby
or whatever it is.
Baby
Isn't that what it was? He was
Vengeance,
Vengeance.
Yeah.
Vengeance, yeah.
That movie's
But
beautiful.
that and that's my thought. And that's my thing. It's like, so obviously up until that came out, 100%, it's Dark Knight. But now it's a complete coin flip. Either of those are my top two, are my top favorite, and they're equally as good in my opinion.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what they do. I can't wait to see the next one. Like,
I bet they can't wait to see what they do. I bet you they have no real idea.
No,
idea.
I know,
That's
I
true.
know.
That's true.
So scatterbrained. Yeah, I think the ending for that movie got messy and kind of soured my taste for it. But
well, it ended
still
3
respect it,
times
still
is
like
the
it.
problem. It
Yeah,
just kept
it's
ending
just-
over and over.
they didn't know how to end it, so they picked 3 endings, filmed them
Yeah,
all,
kept 'em
put them
all.
all in the movie, and went, "You can just take whatever one you want, and
Yeah.
that will be the ending."
Yeah.
Because, like, to me, yeah, it's like when after they capture the dude and he goes to the prison, I'm like, okay, cool, great, brilliant, end the movie. That's it. Oh no, don't go to that stadium and do all this weird wonky shit. What's happening? End this movie. I remember thinking, watching it, like, just end this fucking movie. Like, I like this, but just stop. That's enough. You did it. You did a good
you
job.
already did it, yeah.
You did a good job. You can stop now. You don't have to keep. Oh, they're still going. Oh god.
It's like someone's Oscar speech going even after they start
Yeah,
playing the
they
music
play the
for them to
fucking
leave.
music. Oh my god.
Oh no, you quiet that music. I'm continuing.
Yeah. That's what they
You
did.
can't.
They turned
You
it
can't
up,
sing
too.
me
They
off the
turned it up
stage.
louder and louder. And so,
I mean, I get that they had to have that.
Off.
They had to have that comeback where it's like, oh, now the military likes him because he stayed there for like a day and helped everybody out. You're like, good job, Batman. Like, but okay, all right. So
We
now
didn't need
everyone
the
likes him.
Catwoman
Now
one.
he's not a vigilante. What's happening?
Yeah.
Here? It's like they were scared that people were not going to like the movie, so they're like, we'll just give him a full character arc in this one movie, and that way, if we never make another one, at least we say we did it.
Right. It's like the studio came in and meddled with the end of it, you know? They left him alone through the whole movie and then came in at the end like, yeah, but we're still Warner Brothers and we still do this.
They just dragged it out instead of just giving us what we want, and what we want is District 10.
Do
and
we?
They won't.
Facts.
Yes, I do want District 10, and for our movie of the week, cue the music. We watched District 9, which was on my top 100. I believe it was 91. Don't quote me on that, though, because I don't know. I don't have the list in front of me, even though I probably should have. But, yeah, I think that was my recommendation to do District 9 this week.
Yes.
I hadn't seen it. I saw it once in theaters when the night it came out, and then I saw it maybe 2 years after that. So it came out 2009. I saw it in 2011. So it's been 12 years since I've seen that movie. And yeah, what'd you think, Josh?
You know, I love this movie, and it's been a while since I watched it. I've seen it multiple times, but it's been a good couple years since I've seen it. Yeah, it's just, I think this movie's highly underrated. I think it's highly underrated, and kind of like how Steven Spielberg said The Dark Knight would have won an Oscar if it came out today. I think this movie would have been more appreciated if it came out today. I feel like it came out in a time where we weren't really getting films like this when it came to like sci-fi movies. I think a lot of people went into this movie expecting this sort of alien sci-fi movie that we usually get, but this went against the grain on almost everything. You know what I mean? It starts off, it gives us this character who, you know, usually we're rooting for the human character, but this character is a piece of shit. and I love how in the beginning they show you him and you're like, oh, this guy can't be that bad. But then they go to District 9 and you're like, oh, this guy's terrible. This guy's a horrible person. And you have like this documentary and people are talking about, you know, I can't believe he would do this, but they're not telling you what he did. So you're like, oh, he did something crazy. And just that the way it's set up like a documentary, you know, it really helps the audience get into the film and find it more believable. You know, it's not this typical alien movie where they come and, you know, one, they're going to have a battle, or two, we're intrigued by their technology and want to learn more. It's like they treat these aliens like they're dumb. You know, they have them in this ghetto and
they call them like prawns
shit.
And
yeah. But overall, I absolutely love this movie. And another thing that I was thinking of when we were talking about how Darth Vader died and he needed to die, I feel the same way about the main character. He kind of has that redemption at the end of the film, but like he didn't win. You know, he ends up turning into the aliens that he treated like shit, and that is his punishment, even though he did kind of redeem himself a little bit, you know, but he has that punishment because he's still a shitty person. And to be following this shitty person through the film was something different. It really was. And yeah, that's what I got.
It's funny you say it. So obviously, I saw this. So I just rewatched it yesterday, and I'm so fucking glad I did. 'Cause I saw it one time, probably in 2011. So that's why I was like, oh, I wanted to see it because sci-fi, cool, why not? But Sharlto Copley, man, I fucking love this guy. He is a fucking phenomenal actor, and the first time I ever saw him was in 2010 in 18 when he was Murdoch.
Mm-hmm.
So watching this movie, just like, I need to see more of him. I need more of him in movies.
Mm-hmm.
But his character Wickus, I mean, it's funny you say that he was like this real piece of shit. I came in at it as a completely different angle. I looked at it, he wasn't a complete piece. He was oblivious. He had no clue how bad everyone was being treated. He was put in this position because of his father-in-law. He was promoted to this and sent here to help move. He was just a complete bumbling idiot who had this smoking hot wife because he was a lucky bastard and good-hearted.
Yeah, yeah.
But he was. I feel like he was just completely oblivious and has no spine and just kind of he didn't really understand how bad things were for everybody. He was just doing what he was told to do.
Right. I do kind of want to backtrack a little. Like, I do want to say he wasn't a piece of shit to humans. He was. The way you put it, he's oblivious. Like the way he did, because he did treat the aliens like shit, like complete shit. But it was only the aliens that he was like almost not viewing them as like. It was not human beings, but like people, like living organisms.
Yeah. If I could jump in real quick, what you said with that this movie was ahead of its time in the fact of its social commentary is so tongue in cheek and underlying this whole thing that he is the perfect representation of a desk bureaucrat going into the field and doing something where all he looks at is just rules, laws. Like you see when there's the scene when he goes into the ship and like towards the end and he goes downstairs into the guy's ship and he's like, oh, this is so illegal. This is definitely a fine. Like, what are you talking about? It's a fucking ship. It's not a fine. Like, what are you saying? Like, that is so. Because he just doesn't even think that way. Like you or I would be like, holy crap, this is crazy. Like you've been hiding this here the whole time. But he just thinks in bureaucratic garbage. Like, oh, this guy is in trouble. Like so it's a perfect representation of like, I don't think he's a piece of shit. He's just way over his head. He's just so like you can tell at the like underlying he wants to be a good person. Like he wants to help people. Like he's trying to help these creatures, but it's more of like red tape, like I have to come here and get your signature, sir. And the prawn thing is like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And he's like, no, see, when he slapped it, I got his signature. And his character's so just like removed from reality almost.
Exactly.
I think it lays to the point where this movie just doesn't go deep enough, where because when they made it, there wasn't like a movie that needed to be like it didn't need to exist, but they made it. But you could have gone further with the social commentary aspects of like how they're treated. And I think it's really, there's a lot of points where the South African people are like, yeah, go back home. We don't want you here. Like you're alien to us. And it's like, you realize that's how like some of the native people treated you, like the native people to that country. It's so handoffish and so social commentary like that. It's just like, this is amazing. Like it's weird. I personally loved it. Like I said, this is in my top 100 and I only watched it twice and it had a profound impact on, I freaking love this movie. And whenever a movie can barely tell you anything about it and make you want to know more, that's always a sign of a really, really good movie. Like this movie, they don't really tell you, they never tell you why the aliens came from. They don't even give you like a time frame. They give you like 20 years, but they don't tell you when in the future it was. They just leave out all this stuff and it makes me at least want to know more. Like I want another movie to this. I want this to go in further with it.
Yeah. And they were supposed to actually do a sequel.
They're still in the talks.
District 10.
They're still supposed to do it, yeah.
So the director,
Neil Blomkamp.
So he's kind of put a halt on everything because it's not the right time because of everything going on. It's like, no, who cares? I get it. Yes, this is where you're from. I understand you don't want to cause a problem, but tell your story. You have the actor. I mean, Shalto wants. He's like, I want to do this role again. Let's go.
I just hate that it's so long. Like it's almost like Avatar because it came out the same year as Avatar. They both came out in 2009, and it's like we're still waiting on a sequel to District 9. Are you kidding me? Like, yeah, the movie's underrated, but it does have its fan base. Like, there's a lot of people asking for District 10.
Yeah.
And it just sucks that we're waiting so long because, I mean, it's not coming out next year. I can tell you that.
No.
So it's like, when is it coming?
So they're wrapping up on doing the Gran Turismo. The guy who directed it, he's doing Gran Turismo.
Yeah,
they're working on drafts. They're trying to. I mean, it's a lot of promising. Like it's, I don't know. It doesn't need to. I'm not like super clamoring for it. It doesn't. I don't staying up waiting for it, but it's something that I'm definitely looking forward to as soon as it comes out.
Yeah, I've always wanted to dive more into that world.
I'm just looking for the back and forth between, Wickus and Christopher. Who was the prawn, who he saved at the end, finally coming back, and he says, and I just want to see what the hell? You said 3 years.
Yeah, I said 3 years. And then what's the plan? Like, is he going to come back, like, with a whole army? Because he was very devastated when he found out what was happening to his people. So I don't think he's going to go back and be like, oh, not bring all that up. There's probably going to be some sort of war in the next one, I would imagine. Like, he's probably going to come back with more than just...
The thing that struck me for this movie, another thing, too, is that the CGI was really good. Like, there's a lot of movies that, even a few years after it comes out, the CGI looks terrible. Mm-hmm. And you're like, ooh, that did not age well. This movie aged pretty well. There was hardly a time where I was, like, removed from it and thinking, like, oh, that's super, like, that looks bad. This movie looks great. Like, some of the visceral scenes are a little
on their faces.
Yeah. Yeah, the mocap was, or whatever they did to make the prawn creatures is fantastic. Like, everything looks real. It looks believable.
The exploding people. And oh my God.
Yeah. It was nothing looked like, and that's super, like, I was just watching a horror movie from like 2005 and it's awful. The blood is terrible. It just doesn't even look real. It was like a sci-fi movie and it looked horrible. I was like, and then watching this last night, I was like, wow, this still you could release this movie today and it would,
in this exact state, and it looks like it looks just
great.
made today.
Yeah, it looks great.
It's not too over the, because sometimes where movies I feel like fail lately is they go so big with the action that it just, after a while you're like, okay, like you have, entire city blocks blowing up and you're like, just because you can do that doesn't mean you should. It makes it so, it cheapens it almost when you do this gigantic, huge monuments, explosions, and having people survive things that you're like, dude, what?
Yeah, they didn't really have an action set piece, a big one, until the end there. I mean, for most of the movie, there's not a lot of fun happening. I mean, you kind of feel shitty for most of the film. Even when the action set piece is happening, you're like, this sucks, man. Like, I don't feel so great. I just feel terrible about everything that's happening.
Yep.
Maybe that was another turnoff, People saw the trailer for this and they're like, oh, yeah, alien action movie. Then they go see this and they're like, oh, man, I don't feel great,
No. I love the whole documentary aspect of it. It was greatly done. I mean, the whole premise of the movie was fantastic, and I am hoping they actually finally green light the sequel because I want to see a District 10.
Yeah, it's funny too because I was just thinking, it reminded me a lot of like a better version of Battle Los Angeles. Do you remember that movie with Aaron Eckhart? And how
Aaron Eckhart, yep.
That was supposed to be like a franchise kind of movies. They were supposed to come out with like Battle New York, and I think there was a Battle Miami or something planned, and Battle San Francisco or something. Like, it's weird how we got this run of probably, I'd say, 6, 7, 8 years of all these like sci-fi action adventure thriller movies where it was like aliens coming down and fucking everything up, and then it just kind of all went away. It's weird how you see that, like, the older we get and we can kind of see those like trends in Hollywood go and swing back and forth, like, oh, I guess we're on the run of like science fiction action movies right now, and then there was the zombie movies. And now, what would you say we're in now? Then we went through the comic book movies. I feel like that run is kind of...
It was a hard...
run its course. It was a long time. Because everyone else realized, oh, shit, it's not actually that easy to make these Marvel movies. Like, if you're not Marvel.
And then every once in a while, like the old gangster mafia films, they kind of like... They have like a trend come up for like a year or two, and then it goes away, and then it comes back a couple years later. It's like one that just keeps coming back. And then we have those trends of that trend of dumb action movies like Sharknado and the Megalodon and like films like that.
And they
Never
carve out
saw
their little
them,
place.
never
people,
will.
They come back. They carve out those little places like there's a reason for them. Yeah, I'm looking at there's Battleship, the Tomorrow War, Skyline. Like it's so funny. To
Sky
see.
that one that movie was great up until the absolute end of it, and I was like, oh, you kind of like
Cowboys
wrapped
vs.
it out,
Aliens, Edge of Tomorrow, Oblivion. Like there's that. There's a run of those movies.
Some of
Pacific
those
Rim.
were I liked those.
Edge
Yeah,
of
I mean,
Tomorrow was fire. Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah,
is
Edge of
another
Tomorrow was
underrated one. I
fantastic.
think not many people talk about that movie.
Do you remember the original title for that was Live, Die, Repeat?
Live, Die, Repeat.
And then
yep.
Yes.
And then it gave away too much of the movie though, so they had to change it. Like the title itself kind of ruined the spoiler kind of feel of the movie.
It's like Infinity
Yeah.
War being called Half of Everyone Dies or some shit.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. I'm just looking at some of these movies. Oh man, like even like Pacific Rim, how good, like decent the first Pacific Rim was, and then the Uprising one was terrible. Terrible.
Yeah. No, I agree. Even the new Godzilla movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought the first one was great, and then it was like, okay, this one is just really cheesy as fuck.
Okay, which
Couldn't-
one do you think was great?
Well, Bryan Cranston.
Yeah,
Brian
where he was in it for
Brian
like
Cranston's
fucking
not in that
30
movie.
seconds.
He's not.
30
Say, Brian-
seconds.
He's not.
Bryan Cranston's
And
never
was-
been in a Godzilla
he
movie.
was
But-
in every trailer for a majority
Yep.
of every
yeah.
single trailer.
Didn't we talk about this?
But
Like
that-
just like
but-
Jeff Goldblum for the newer Jurassic World movie,
Right.
and it was like,
yeah.
Jeff
Yeah.
Goldblum's back, everybody, and then he's just literally in a monologue in the beginning and the very end, and you're like, well, I feel ripped off.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, that was the one I thoroughly enjoyed. The second
I fell
one was
asleep
just
in
like,
IMAX to that movie, and I couldn't believe it. I was waiting so long just to see Godzilla, and then like I remember I woke up towards the end, and the battle's going on, and I couldn't really see what was happening because I was like way in the front too. It sucked. It was back when you couldn't reserve the seat in the IMAX theater,
yeah.
so you just had
Yeah.
to get there.
Yeah.
We got
Yeah.
there late, so I was way in the front, and I look up and I'm like, I can't see what's going on.
And
So I just went back to
that's the one
sleep.
where it's like in San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was okay. I am thinking of that
I
one.
did
That
not
one,
like that one. I like the one after that more, just because
Yeah.
the kaiju were just fire. They were dope.
Yeah,
But the story was, Millie Bobby Brown's character and all
forgettable.
that stuff.
No, I
happens.
mean, those movies are never like known for their B plot stories. Like no one cares about the humans. We're not here for
No.
that. I don't
No.
care about the
No.
human story side of this. I just want to see monsters.
just give me the
slamming into each
monsters.
other.
Godzilla vs.
Give me the
Kong
monsters.
understood that, I think.
Yeah. Oh, they totally got it. They were like,
I think they got that.
We know what
Yeah.
you want. We'll give you a little bit because
They
we
gave it
kind
to
of
me.
gotta. But I love the King Kong movie, the remake one,
Skull Island?
that
Yeah.
Skull Island. Yeah,
Skull
I mean,
Island.
I like that.
I like that too.
Yes.
Yep.
And that focused on the human side of it, and you're like, okay, I'm in with it.
hmm Yeah. I think that's all we got.
All right.
We're going to move
I
on
was gonna
to
say
our
we're
drink of the week. What do you got for us?
Take us home, dope.
All right. I have to get my cup and stuff, but we're gonna do the adios motherfucker. And I'm gonna tokify it a little bit.
Comes back butt ass naked.
Go shit.
All right. So this is a lot of liquor. There's a half ounce of this, half ounce of that. I'm not going to measure. I'm going to eyeball it. Because why not? So it says a half ounce of vodka. So we'll do... Yeah, that looks good. Half ounce of rum. I don't have regular rum. I have Brugal. Because, well, I like spiced rum and dark rum because it tastes better. Half ounce of tequila. I'll pour some of that in there. Half ounce of gin. Half ounce of blue carousel.
You're not going to put this entire drink back, are you? Because that's
I was, Mike, I was about to say it at the same time. Like, are you about to chug that?
Simple syrup,
no.
half ounce. Okay. And as for a half ounce of lemon juice, well, I don't have lemon juice. I'm just going to use a sweet and sour mix. It's got lemon and lime. Okay. And then it asks for 1 ounce of lemon lime soda. Use Sprite.
What is this called again?
The Adios motherfucker.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So close that up. I don't give it a little mixy. And looks pretty.
Yeah, good color.
Cheers.
R.I.P.
That's actually fucking delicious. And you can't taste the booze.
Dangerous.
On that, it's adios, motherfucker.
Absolutely.
I still got more. Yeah.
Was that it? Did we just end? Like, I don't know.
I made it.
We said adios, motherfucker. You know what I mean? You know where to find us. I mean,
play your
At
outro
this point,
card
they
on
should
that
know.
after that. That's
yeah,
great.
just outro. Hey, you made it to the
At
end
this point,
of the video.
adios, motherfucker.
That's perfect. Oh, hey, look at you. You made it to the end of the video. Well, if you like what you saw, be sure to hit that like button. Also, hit that subscribe button. Should be over here, I hope. Also, check out some of the other videos we have on the channel right over here. Do it. Click the video. Click the video. Dude,